Hey, Matt.
Hey, Tyler.
What's up?
Dude, I love what you're doing with that square mustache.
Wait a second, not this again. No, I'm not having this. Ginnick's not here to protect me, and we're not doing any of that German stuff this week. That was
Sure.
not cool last week. We have other countries to address, and
lot
we'll
of
address
countries, yeah.
those when Hutch addresses this.
You know what it is now, boys and girls of the podcast world. Matt and Tyler on the mics. They're gonna stay here until they agree. They're gonna stay here until they agree. Oh, thank you for listening. This show's called Until We Agree. Oh, thank you for listening.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Until We Agree with Matt and Tyler. I'm your host, Matt Howard, joined as always by my host, Tyler Pritchard. Tyler, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, and I am welcome. I feel welcome.
And may I say, I don't think you're a Nazi.
I suppose.
I don't think you're a Nazi.
Thank you. No, I
That was all acting.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
That was acting. That was improv, and I think maybe next week or the week after, we need to have kind of a large group on for like a 4 or 5 man improv.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the show needs right now.
We've been training, so it's time. It's time to show what we've got. Obviously, we had that one session with a guy who's taken 3 classes, so I think we're ready to take it to the next level for sure.
By then, it could be 4 or 5 classes. We don't know how often these are.
That's true,
So
yeah.
I mean, the world is our oyster.
Yeah. Tell me.
Tell you what, because I have something to tell you.
Please do.
I'm huge on TikTok.
You're doing great on TikTok.
So for those of you who don't know, Until We Agree Pod, I believe on TikTok, Until We Agree on Instagram, we post from time to time. On TikTok, we made a deal with each other that we'd each post once per day, and we post these lists or competitions, and we just see who gets more likes. And I have been smoking mad.
If I may add one note, it is just at Until We Agree on TikTok.
Oh, okay. I thought
Don't go to at Until We Agree Pod on TikTok. Those little rats are copying our whole steez and flow.
bar for bar, word for word.
Yeah. But yeah, you're doing well. As far as these arbitrary lists that we make without any foresight into them and just randomly putting them into a ranking, you're doing a great job at that. And I will give you credit for that for sure. That I think is your sweet spot. Useless garbage. And you're doing hot with it. But check it out. It's not garbage to you. It's garbage to us. So at Until We Agree on TikTok, we're posting there every single day, even today and tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, it'll be there. But huge moment in the podcast. And again, it's cool that we get to have one of these moments. It seems like every single week now. This was our most streamed week ever. We said it last week. It was true last week, and it's true again this week. Why is that the case, Tyler?
Well, we really don't know. We had one day where streams just kind of blew up, which is sick. But what we did notice, those streams had a heavy influx from 2 new countries, and you guys know we love new countries.
It's the dream.
And so the first one, Canada, whatever.
And it's Canada at whatever, because Canada is at and whatever. But there weren't as many coming from Canada. But this other country took us to the moon. The space race, if you will. Which one was that?
Thank you to China.
China.
We are big in China now. They make up 3% of our listener base somehow. So we're trying to take over China. We're trying to be the biggest podcast in China.
I think you should be careful with your wording. We're not trying to take over China.
Yeah, but like the media space.
The media space for sure, yeah. I think that's where we want to exist. As far as like a socio-economical, political climate, I think we're going to try to avoid taking over China for now.
Right. And to the leaders of China, we are not trying to take over China per se, but we are trying to take over China in the heavily censored media space. So please do not censor us.
Right. I did read, because I was wondering how they even found us. They do have Apple Podcast in China. The note was that the content is sent through heavy censorship. So who knows what they actually
Who knows what makes
heard,
it over there? It's a 12 and a half second podcast over there.
Yeah, which is awesome. But it's great. It's great for audience engagement. So shout out to China. A lot of respect for those listeners. And if you
or
were
as
living
they say in China.
Well, what did they say?
Ni hao.
Sure. If you're listening in another country right now, keep listening so we can get those analytics in place. And as they say in China. Thank you.
Let's run through and say hello to all of our listeners in their native language.
Okay. Hello, web browser women.
Yep. Hello to web browser women. United States is hello.
Hello.
China is ni hao.
Yeah.
United Kingdom. You got that one.
Oi, bruv.
Oh, nice. Netherlands. Oh, you killed the Netherlands last time.
Hello.
Germany. Uh-oh.
I think you should do the Germany one. You're really good at Germany.
What is German for hello?
Hi.
9.
No, that's something
No,
else.
that's no. That's
yeah,
no.
that seems like
But-
no.
But that seems fitting. We only have
Yeah.
0.1% there. Poland,
Da.
and then Canada.
Hey.
All right. That's
Not
it.
bad.
All right. Oh,
You know what?
we're engaging with all of our fans. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all still listening. I've been so excited about this for 3 days, and I teased you a little bit before.
Yeah,
we
what
start
is
recording.
Before we started recording, he said it was the most insane story ever, and that I haven't heard it, and that it was so insane. And I think
Yeah.
he said insane even more than I'm saying it. So
I did, because
get
it
into
was, if you will, insane. This is, and if you didn't know me in the last, for like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, this wouldn't mean as much to you as it's going to mean to Tyler and the people, the faithful Rat Pack who has been around for a while. But it's still a crazy story for anyone. So, tell me, Tyler, if you can think of any celebrity in the world who I have the deepest amount of beef with, personal beef with, who would that be?
personal beef, a celebrity you have personal beef with. I know it, but
And again, this is crazy. So trust your gut here.
is it a musician or is it an actor?
It's a musician. This is personal, not like our little pretend ones.
So it's not Jacob Collier.
No, Jacob Collier is a rat because he's too good at what he does. This guy's
Right.
a rat because of what he did to me.
Okay, so this is Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen. Do you remember Morgan Wallen?
I do remember Morgan Wallen.
So, get this.
Okay,
I was in, as you know, where this weekend?
Alabama.
Alabama, visiting some soon-to-be family down there, and we were going through Birmingham. And I'm not.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Go ahead.
hey, that's actually the exact right reaction, because some backstory. I ran into Morgan Wallen in 2019 before he was who Morgan Wallen is today, and I had the worst interaction with him. He ruined my entire night, and I have personal beef with him to this day.
Should
He
you
doesn't
tell that
remember
story
I'm
first?
sure. I don't think I should tell that story, but if you find me on the street, I will tell that entire story in great detail.
It's not forgiving to Morgan Wallen. I'll tell you
No,
that.
it
That
is
story is
not.
not. It's not
It
nice
is
to
not.
him.
It is not. It is one of those. And here's the way I like to describe it is Morgan Wallen has won a lot. If me and him are in a competition of who's having a better day, just day for day for the last 5 years, Morgan Wallen has probably won that competition all but like 3 days. He's
And
doing.
that day was one of them, right?
He's doing great. No, he won that day too. He definitely won that day too. There was like a few moments in his career since then that I think we can all look to and say, oh, not a great day to be Morgan Wallen.
Right.
You know? But overall, he's doing great, and that's always tough for me to see just because of what he did to me personally. But every moment that is a win for me, I really feel it hard, and I appreciate that. So, anyways,
Did you run into Morgan Wallen again?
I met Morgan Wallen again in Birmingham, Alabama. I didn't like meet him, and I didn't like bring up like all our beef because he has way more power than me and influence. So I didn't want to like cause anything. I went into like a little like bake shop in Birmingham, Alabama, because they have these great cookies that I get raved about all the time. And he was like on the street. I'm not even kidding.
Like drunk or like spewing racial slurs?
he
or
was-
what was he doing?
Historically, that could be true. He was just hanging out though. He was just there. It was the middle of the day, and he was just there. Is that not crazy?
That is crazy. Like he like no actions. He was just hanging out.
Well, like he has like people
maybe
around
he
him.
has grown. Maybe he has grown.
you would hope so. The chair situation, maybe that was what really turned things around for him. But yeah, isn't that crazy? I've now run into him twice. Less unpleasant this time, but still wild, right?
What'd you say to him?
Here's the thing. I didn't say anything to him because he doesn't know me.
Bro, cowered away. That's crazy.
We've spoken once. We exchanged howdies, which was
Howdy?
off brand for me. It felt weird coming out, but that was 5 years ago. A
Yeah.
little different situation now. We have gone in different directions career wise for sure.
What was he doing there? Is he like, I don't know if he's on tour. Like, what was he doing there?
I think he's just I think he just goes around the South, and I think he was down there. Maybe he was around for like college football or something. But I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Wasn't he in Alabama that one time he was supposed to play SNL?
Right, and then he was making out with every single girl at the University
and
of
he got
Alabama.
COVID, and then
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah,
couldn't play
so
SNL.
I think Alabama's one of his little homes. So
Dang, all right.
can I tell you something else which is really crazy?
Yeah.
None of that was true.
Okay.
I made up that entire story.
Why?
I don't know.
Yes, and I believed you.
Yeah, which makes you look like an idiot now.
Okay, but the audience believed you too, because why would you make something like that up?
Hey, idiots in the audience, you're an idiot too. Speaking of the audience, thank you for letting me win another poll this week. You were getting torched in the polls, as usual. Huge debate last week on a huge episode, which has been called one of the favorites of all time. Are you doing okay? What's wrong? You've gone silent.
I have a story for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you know I'm in, you know where I am right in, like this weekend, right?
Texas?
Yeah. I'm in Texas. You know who lives in Texas?
Jerry Jones.
Yes, but someone famous podcaster who lives in Texas.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Yep.
No
So I
way.
was downtown
Uh-huh.
and just went into this little cookie shop.
Uh-huh.
Came highly recommended, and you know who was outside?
Who was that?
Guess.
Was it Joe Rogan?
No, it was Jerry Jones. And
No
Jerry
way.
Jones in Austin, Texas, of all
Yeah.
things, right before the NFL kickoff, too, like no less, here in a couple weeks, he's just chilling. And I said, "What's up, Jerry?" And he said, "Nobody can run this team like I can." And then he like scurried away. It was weird.
he punched you in the mouth and kissed you on the forehead, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
Classic Jerry. That's sick. Wow. I can't believe we both had cool celebrity interactions this week.
and that was true. That did happen.
Yeah, I 100% believe you. I'm sure everyone does. But yeah, click over. We have a debate today. Click over and let us know who you think won today's debate. So should we get into that debate now?
Yes. Okay. I was about to say, did I black out because I don't remember the debate?
Yeah, we're about to do it. That's why. So I was sent a TikTok by known stupid person, Hank Green. He didn't send it to me personally.
Wait a second.
Let me clarify.
Don't slander Hank Green. He's been through a lot.
No, he's a what's it called? A nepo baby. He's a nepo baby of science facts. So he's been riding the coattails of his brother, and he claims to know stuff, but he doesn't. He just talks with confidence, and I think that carries him a long way. Anyways, I was sent a TikTok that kind of goes back to a debate that we touched on in the middle of another debate from like 20 episodes ago. But I think it's time we finally revisit it, because now I need to go up against you, and I'm sure Hank Green are on the same side, because it's a lame, untrue side.
Science fact-based debate.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah. Are
why
you
don't we
gonna
play the
the
TikTok?
Yeah.
We're gonna play this TikTok, and then we'll come back and take our sides.
If I'm allergic to seafood, can I still scuba dive? Or is that like fish juice?
I see we have returned to the eternal question of whether or not the ocean is a soup. And if it is a soup, it is obviously a seafood soup. And if you are allergic to seafood, you should not have a seafood soup. I did it once. I was like, I could have a little clam chowder. I'm not that allergic to bivalves. And I am. That's just the kind of mistake a guy like me would make. I'm always like, it can't be that bad, and then it turns out that it is. However, this line of inquiry is remarkable because it allows us to finally put to bed the question of whether or not the ocean is a soup. If it was a soup, it would be a seafood soup, and you wouldn't be able to have any of it if you were allergic to seafood. But you can have ocean if you are allergic to seafood, because there's not enough seafood in it to cause any kind of reaction. So the ocean must not be a soup, because a person who is allergic to seafood can still have ocean. Yay!
Okay, thank you, Hank.
Boo,
All right,
Hank.
so here's the
Boo,
thing.
Hank.
Here's the
Boo,
thing.
Hank.
Here's the thing. I agree with Hank's end point, but I don't agree with how he got there. Because here's the thing. I'm going to steel man your position real quick.
Okay, please do.
So what he's trying to say is it can't be a seafood soup because there's not enough seafood to cause an allergic reaction. But if there was a seafood soup, but you had just like one piece of shrimp, you could probably still get away with calling that seafood soup, even though it might not cause the same allergic reaction that 16 pieces of shrimp would cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's all wrong in his logic here, and I would love to educate him on why and how in other ways it's not a soup.
Yeah. So at the very least, it sounds like we can agree that known moron Hank Green is acting like a moron in this TikTok.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about here. And to be honest, I think the fame has gone to his head, and he should, frankly, retire.
Okay. You know what? That's something I can get behind. This is the first time that you've talked since in probably 6 weeks. So I appreciate that. By the way, before we get any further, have you taken that picture for the wedding website yet? You did get in trouble yesterday for that.
No, and I'm going to take it today. Yeah. Like after the recording, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, it's just that it was requested 2 weeks ago, and as the best man, it's not a great
So
look.
by our climbing gym, there's a milk bank for
bank.
Yeah, we don't. I'm not exactly sure the purpose of it, but I was thinking it says like mother's milk outside of it, and I was thinking to take it under that sign.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I actually kind of like that idea. I'm getting kind of deja vu though, because I actually was called Milk Bank in high school quite often. So I don't love that, but I think it's going to be okay. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. But yeah, that as best man, it was a big strike on your resume. However, you did respond quickly to the hat logo debate that we were having on which hat logos we like the best for party favors at the wedding. So you did earn some cred back.
Was I right in the one I chose?
Well, you're not going to like this. You know how you wear those striped pants that we all make fun of?
Nobody makes fun of those with the correct shirt choice.
Well, everyone does make fun of them behind your back at the very least, and sometimes in front of your face. And so we actually asked for your opinion. And so I asked that your girlfriend not give her opinion yet. We wanted your straight opinion first because we wanted to confirm that the ones that we liked the least, you liked the most.
And
because if you like them, that means that it was probably the worst one.
Is that true? Because here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That the one I chose is the best.
I think we all like the one that you chose is the best. We just wanted to be sure. It's really not so much the one that we like the best, because I think we are all on the same page for which one's the best. I think it was which one was the worst, because we're going to do multiple logos. And so if we cut down if we cut down to 2 logos instead of 3, we would get rid of one. And we wanted to be sure that the one we didn't like was one that you did like. And I think you did like the one that we didn't like.
Okay, that's fine. There were only 3 options to choose from, so I don't know. I mean, I also never said which ones I liked and didn't like. It was just a forced ranking that I was asked to give. So
hey, you're great at rankings, though.
I could let you know which ones I did and didn't like.
I actually don't have any
I'll
say
save
in
that
it
for another day.
Yeah, I don't really have a say in it though. Is the thing. So you'd have to reach out to the bride at that point.
Yeah. Okay. We can do that. I think we should get back to the debate at hand, though.
Sure. It's just I just want to make everyone clear that you did have your first failure as best man, and unfortunately, you've been demoted to fourth ranking now. So
yeah, but I was texted individually about the bachelor party, and I gave my permission for one of the groomsmen to cater another wedding.
That was in the group chat. What do you mean?
But he texted me individually this morning.
Okay, sure. Great.
So,
yeah, you're doing a great job then.
Honk, you're a clown.
No, you're back up to the top. You're fine. All right. So, where you're wrong is ocean is a soup, because it goes back to the first debate we had on this, where we all agreed at the end that ocean, in the same way that cereal can be a soup, everyone is on the same page with that.
No.
It's a broth with contents inside of it.
No.
What do you mean?
Nobody ever came to that agreement. And
everyone.
Do you remember?
By the end of it, everyone agreed with me.
What? What says who? And when?
You didn't even know that soup could be cold. That was like revolutionary to you. There's such thing as cold soups. You live in this fantasy world that soup just has to be a hot bone broth. Think about tomato soup. No bone broth in that. It just is a broth. You know, like it has a broth and it has contents mixed into it. Yeah, I do totally agree that seafood soup, that's not really the question. It's an ocean soup. You know, there's other stuff in the ocean besides fish. So we had to take that into consideration. If I scoop out a bowl of ocean, there's a good chance there's not going to be a fish in there, but there's going to be some other bacteria, fungi. There are things in there that make up the contents of a soup. So if we break down food, meals into their base elements, a liquid base with contents inside of it is a soup. And so if we get a bowl of ocean, that's going to be an ocean soup.
A bowl of ocean is an ocean soup.
Yeah. Heat it up
Now,
or cool it down.
what if it's an ocean cereal?
They're the same thing. They're all interchangeable.
Okay, no.
A cereal
no.
is a soup.
You're lost. You are lost. The ocean, well, first of all, you're saying that it's a broth.
The water is the broth, yeah.
We've been over the definition of broth. You know it's not a broth.
Yes, it is. It's the base contents of the soup.
But that's not...
What about tomato soup? What about tomato soup? No bone broth in tomato soup. There's no bone broth in tomato soup.
Nobody's saying bone broth. What are you just like saying words now.
No, that was your debate last time, was that it has to be a meat byproduct.
It's a soup consisting of meat or vegetable chunks.
What are you talking about?
That's what a broth is.
Yeah, so how is an ocean not that? An ocean
because
has
the water itself isn't that.
How is it not?
Because the ocean water itself is not a broth.
Yes, it is. It has vegetation.
It has
vegetation in it. You just literally talked about how it has.
If you scoop up any random thing of water, you're likely not going to get any meat or vegetable.
Yes, you will. There are so many floral aspects that float around in the ocean.
That's not
broken
vegetables
down at like a
molecular
level. Yes, it is.
That's not a vegetable, and you know it.
Yes, it is. There are living organisms inside of every scoop of ocean you get. I guarantee you that.
Living organisms aren't meat.
That's a meat. How is that not a meat? How is that not a meat?
What do you mean? How is that not a meat?
How is that not a meat? How is that not a meat?
What do you mean?
A living organism's meat.
A living organism's meat?
Or
it's a plant meat?
That's what I was about to say. Or it's a vegetation, which is also a living organism.
Or it's a vegetation.
You're literally reading the definition of broth right now, and it has the meat and the vegetation aspects to it. It has to be either or.
Vegetation? Nobody's saying vegetation.
Read the definition of broth again.
I will. Soup consisting of meat or vegetable chunks.
Vegetable,
not vegetation.
Yeah. Vegetation
it's the exact
is
same
different
thing.
Than
vegetable.
No,
because
not.
Vegetation can be any kind of greenery. A vegetable is a very specific food group.
And they overlap.
And they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Dude, you sound like a moron right now. You're not giving credit to food.
It's more similar.
It's more
similar to saying
food.
A cat is an animal, but an animal is not always a cat. A vegetable could be a vegetation, but a vegetation isn't always a vegetable.
Yeah, in a sense, it is though. It's not the exact same thing because every vegetation can be treated as a vegetable. As a human, there are certain foods that have lower quality of benefits for us dietetically.
Dietetically.
So, yeah, dietetically. I almost majored in nutrition in college, or minored in nutrition in college. So don't come at me about nutrition. I know about nutrition. And so just because those things don't have like human benefits necessarily, like an oak leaf per se that falls off an oak tree, that's still vegetation. A squirrel, that's a
Nobody's
vegetable
saying
to
that's
a squirrel.
not vegetation.
That's a vegetable
You're
to a
arguing
squirrel.
with a ghost. You're arguing with a ghost. No one's saying that.
I'm arguing with an idiot is who I'm arguing with.
No, yeah, because you're arguing with yourself.
Look in the mirror right now.
Look
in the mirror right now. Look in the mirror right now.
There's no mirrors around me.
You should get one so you can see the idiot at all times when we're doing this podcast.
Because there's no one saying that a leaf isn't vegetation. What I'm saying is not all vegetation are vegetables.
And what I'm saying is just because we don't consider that leaf a vegetable for us doesn't mean it's not a vegetable for something else. So, for example, a squirrel would eat that.
That's not, no. That doesn't
yes, it
mean,
would. And that's a vegetable.
That's
a squirrel's vegetable.
Just because it's edible vegetation doesn't make it.
It's a squirrel's vegetable now.
Just because it's edible vegetation doesn't make it a vegetable.
Bro, what do you even know about the food pyramid for a squirrel? It's totally different than a human's. You don't know anything about that.
I do
so you
know
can't
that
speak to
even
it.
if they okay, then neither can you.
Yes, I can. I almost minored in nutrition in college.
Oh, squirrel nutrition? You almost minored in squirrel nutrition.
It's all. There's definitely parallels for sure.
There's not though.
That open the
And
pathways.
I'm
that open
gonna
my
keep copying your
pathways.
stutters every time you do it. So keep that up.
How dare you?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was hurtful.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Hit it, Hutch. We're back.
And we're back, and we've made up.
No, we haven't. I'm still furious.
It was like half a second.
that
cut, by the
was
way.
an actual half-second cut. Yeah. No. So squirrels eat vegetables. Humans eat vegetables. A squirrel would probably like ocean soup more than us. I'm not going to deny that.
Do ants eat,
But it's still
eat
soup.
vegetables?
What is that?
Do ants eat vegetables?
Yeah, I think ants would actually be a better example than squirrels would be. For
And how about uncles? Shout out to my Aunt Lisa. She listens every week.
Faithful rat. That's so good. Yeah, keep going. I don't know where you just left off at.
Oh, I was making a joke.
Right. I laughed.
I know
at
you're
that, but
unfamiliar
then-
with those.
No,
but
I laughed at the joke, but then you should probably keep going.
how about we jump in, because I feel like we're not coming to an agreement on this, and we've already pretty much done this debate, but it was fun to rehash. So I think we should just hit it, Hutch.
No, dude.
And we're back with
It's
the
a
Q&A.
holiday. It's a holiday. I don't want to do this many edits on a holiday.
We are back with the Q&A.
Okay, we're back with the Q&A. Fine. Before we get there, bucket a hole. What are your thoughts on that? Unchanged?
Unchanged.
Bummer. We should revisit that one sometime soon too.
I think maybe for the I don't know if we should do for the 6 month or like for the year anniversary of Until We Agree.
I think a year would be good. I think we're past 6 months, are we not?
I think we might.
I think
be
we're like
actually
right
now.
at 6 months.
We're right
now.
on it, yeah. So maybe a year.
We should be at
And,
10,000 followers in the next 6 months, hopefully too, so that we can talk to the people of New York City.
and
Because the
nothing,
locals,
yeah.
the locals hang out at Times Square, and we'll talk to the locals in Times Square and get their opinions on if a bucket is a hole or not. Because that
Famous
really is
New
kind
York
of
City dead spot, Times
Yeah.
Square.
that really is the basis of this whole show. It was really that first debate. So we'll revisit that one in New York. So give us a follow on Instagram at Until We Agree. Drop 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It actually goes a crazy long way. We didn't know this. Goes a crazy long way for the algorithm if we get 5 stars. And so it's easy. It's free to do. And while you're on Spotify, be like one of our most faithful listeners, maybe our most faithful listener, Kim, who leaves a comment weekly, and you can be like her and get in the Q&A section of Until We Agree with Matt and Tyler. This is Matt from Until We Agree with Matt and Tyler, by the way. So, Kim left a comment on Spotify and wanted to know, what habits do you have that you believe no one else does?
I would like to hear yours first, because I know one that I can't say. But
Well, that's what I was going to say is I actually can't answer this one right now because speaking of New York City, 10,000 followers, our live episode in Times Square, we will be addressing this question for me. So I don't actually have an answer right now because my answer is so shameful that it needed a follower ceiling for us to get to before we talk about it.
Wow.
But do you have one?
See, I was like really thinking, because I also, that's the thing, I don't know. I probably have a bunch,
I have one for
but
you.
I don't know if I know what they are. Please, I want to hear it.
You don't really shower enough.
Oh, well, that's just not true. I shower once a day, at least.
At most once a day.
No, at least once a day, and sometimes twice.
Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second. I've seen you live, and it was when we were sharing that small Airbnb in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, before when we were boogie boarding our days away. Every time that shower turned on,
The ocean is my shower.
I took such a sigh of relief. The ocean is my soup. There was such a sigh of relief every time he would turn the faucet on because I was like, thank goodness, it's been 3 days. We've been in the ocean 6 times, and he's finally taking a shower.
That's just okay.
So-
You're just spreading misinformation.
No, that's 100% true, and you can quote me on that. I would testify in court about that as well.
Perjury.
Yeah, good luck proving it. Stinky.
Okay, I have one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, there's one I can't say. We've been over that.
Right. Yeah.
And then the other is, I thought I did, but it's not that weird, I guess. It is
No,
weird,
just say
but
it,
it's
just
not
say
like
it.
a habit. It's not a habit. It's just like something weird you do.
That's fine.
And I don't know
Go
if you
for it.
still do it.
Okay.
But you used to keep all your shoes on the carpet in your bedroom, which I thought was weird.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's a fair one. The thing is it was a rented carpet. I was renting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So it's kind of like I was like, I'm
doesn't
not really here.
matter.
I'm not
Yeah.
here long term. But yeah, I only had 600.
You
and
didn't
some
have much
odd
room to work with. I'll
square
give you that,
feet,
yeah.
and so I had a lot. I have the shoes I don't wear often. I'd have them in little bins under my bed, and then yeah, my probably 6 or 7 pairs of shoes that I would consider wearing on any given day, not like a special occasion pair of shoes. They would sit along the wall, and so I never stepped on that area because they were always covered in shoes. So I think I avoided the grimes aspect of that. But you're right, yeah, that probably wasn't like my best habit. But it's like, come on, man. You know,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do
No,
about it? I think I do a good job of not wearing shoes inside. I will wear shoes inside a stranger's house any day. What are you gonna do? Kick me out? Yeah, right.
Yes.
But
speaking of shoes, I go to the gym relentlessly in flip flops,
are you serious?
like slides. Yeah, unless it's leg day, I always go in slides because I just cannot be bothered to put on my normal shoes.
Do you take them off and just go go socks
Oh
only?
no, I could not do that. If I'm not using my legs that much, why should I be wearing tennis shoes?
It just feels like it'd be more comfortable dynamically, would it not?
But that's the thing, I'm not moving around that type of way. If I'm on the treadmill, yeah, I need tennis shoes. But if I'm just sitting on a bench, what do I need tennis shoes for?
Are you not worried about squishing your tootsies?
With what?
The weights?
I don't drop those.
Okay, then yeah, it seems I think that one people are gonna really pause on that moment.
I think so too. I just realized that's a weird one.
That's gonna be a really weird one. I don't think people are gonna receive that one well.
I think so too. I think that is a weird one, and I fully accept that.
Yeah, so that's your one. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
Weird
you.
guy. We all knew it, and now it's proven.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, because we said last week, because Kim made more of a demand towards us.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did preface this question with, since I got to just ask questions now, we like demands too, especially from Kim. She's asked a question every episode. Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
I just want to make that clear.
And sometimes we need the structure of a boss. Right now, we're kind of our own bosses. Our bosses, the boss who funds our whole show, had a baby recently. And so
congratulations.
He's out of the picture. Whatever. He's out of the picture right now. So we're kind of doing our own thing, and we can do whatever we want. Wow. Thanks for cutting us off there, Hutch. We really needed it. And thank you, Kim, for asking questions. If you want to ask a question and get on next week's episode of Until We Agree, leave us a question down below or on Instagram at Until We Agree, or now in the TikTok comments, leave us a question there too. We'll hit it there as well.
Yeah, TikTok's popping off. Your career is popping off as a songwriter in Nashville. And I applied to be a sponsored athlete for a company.
Yeah.
Which I'm still waiting, because there's 2 steps on the website: apply and wait, and I'm on the wait step. But
that's the logical progression. Yeah.
At Climber I Hardly Know Her on Instagram.
Yeah. You earned that shout out after last week.
You just got to get on there, and then you can follow my climbing, Matt Howard 222 on Instagram for Matt's individual page. But before you follow either of those,
please
add Until We Agree.
So true. Yeah, you can see both one video of Tyler climbing right now and one original song from me on our individual profiles. But if you go over to @Until We Agree, there's content coming at your face relentlessly. So check there first, and then maybe branch out to the other ones. I think Climber I Hardly Know Her is on the come up right now. So I'm feeling really good about that one. There's a lot of stuff coming that way. So let's close the episode out with one of our favorite things to do.
Yes. I'm so pumped for this.
Yeah. Never gotten any positive or negative feedback about these brackets. So we're just going to keep doing them until someone tells us, please, please, please stop. It is the most boring thing you guys do on the show. It's not music. We heard you loud and clear on the music. We're not going to do that until next week. But this week, we've got a bracket. And I'm surprised, honestly, that we haven't talked about this yet, because we love movies. We love watching our movies. This is just the bracket of the best rom-coms from what, 21st century?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair description.
We broke this bracket down. We were searching for pre-made ones all over the internet. We found a bunch of good ones, but they weren't really movies that like fit us as well. So we kind of took all those brackets and made one 16 movie bracket.
It's like a
rom-coms.
cultured one. The other ones, they just weren't like as cultured as we would like.
Sure. And these are like very special to us. There is one from the 1990s, which we had to put on there just for until we agree sake. But
canon.
Yeah, for the canon of the show. But we're going to dive in to best rom-coms, modern rom-coms that Tyler and I think it's safe to say we love all of these.
By the way, you set me up on this one, and we'll get to why.
Sure.
But you know that you set me up.
Did I really?
Yes.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I see that I did now. I really didn't think that. I was really just trying to put all these brackets together. Anyways, we'll get to it.
All right,
Let's
so
start.
I think the format's going to be, we're going to list the two options. We're going to say what we pick at the same time. If we happen to pick the same one, we'll move on. If we don't, we'll hash it out for a second.
Sure.
Okay.
I love it. All right.
So the 1 seed versus the 16 seed. Wedding Crashers versus Titanic.
So, tough one. Really tough
yeah,
one.
really
Jeez.
tough. One's
All
7
right.
hours long and boring, and the other's the best
One's
movie of all
the best movie of all time. So
right.
true.
1, 2, 3. Wedding Crashers into an iceberg because I'm picking Wedding Crashers.
Whoa, yeah. There we go. Good answer. Yeah. After 2 weeks ago, do we even need to address why this beats Titanic?
I think everyone knows.
I'm not saying it's going to win the whole bracket this time because this is rom-coms and that's a different beast than just coms. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's an easy win over Titanic.
All right. The 9 seed Forgetting Sarah Marshall versus the 8 seed 27 Dresses. 3, 2, 1. Forgetting Sarah
27
Marshall.
Dresses.
Wow. Okay.
I know
That's
you
quick.
love.
I just like that movie. I like that movie.
I do, and I do too. And I know I should love it more than I do, but I just don't. I don't know why.
That's okay.
I do love it, but I do love it. Please,
I just don't
please,
care for
Rat
27
Pack.
Dresses.
I love it. 27 Dresses, though, I do. That one's like one of those like feel goods for me. Binning the Jets scene. But yeah, sorry. You love Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I do love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Not the biggest fan of Katherine Heigl. So.
Sure. Just
but-
because she's really ugly. You said that, I know, a bunch of times.
I've never said that.
I
but
think
apparently she's
that's a
pain to
little
work with.
extreme.
That's what I've heard. She's
Oh.
a pain to work with.
And good guy James Marsden is also in there, so it kind of offsets that.
James Marsden, the guy from Westworld?
Yeah, known Westworld actor James Marsden. Is
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
talking
Yeah.
about.
He sounds good.
Yeah, great guy all around.
Yeah. So the 5 seed, The Proposal versus the 12 seed, The Wedding Planner.
This one is my toughest matchup.
This is a tough one.
I'm really struggling with this one.
Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. The Wedding Planner.
The Wedding Planner.
Upset.
It is an upset. It's the classic 12-5 upset. It earned it.
It's
The
Ryan
Proposal's-
Reynolds. I don't like Ryan Reynolds.
Breaking news on it until we agree on Instagram and until we agree the podcast with Matt and Tyler. This is Matt, by the way. You don't like Ryan Reynolds?
No, bro. Have you not heard all the new stuff happening? Oh, we haven't had a pop culture corner in a while.
Dude, yeah, I'm not tuned into pop culture like you. We need a pop culture corner if you're going to break all that
real
down.
quick. Just real quick.
Hit it, Hutch. Pop culture corner. Okay.
Nice.
Hutch, by the way.
Yeah. Can we commission Hutch to? I'll pay him so much money for a pop culture corner.
Yeah, we should work
song.
on that for sure.
Okay. Anyways, so Blake Lively was just in a movie with a guy who is not Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I loved it.
No. And so it was a rom-com, I believe. But basically, they were about to shoot this movie. Then Ryan Reynolds didn't like it or something, so he basically took over, rewrote the whole script and became the director and changed the whole movie. And then also was just a bunch of stories started coming out of him just being a jerk. So I don't know. I'm against Ryan Reynolds right now.
Ryan Reynolds, the fun, happy-go-lucky actor who I'm sure has no skeletons in his closet. That's Ryan Reynolds.
That's the one.
No way.
All right.
Wow.
So,
well,
yeah.
I'm glad we picked the Wedding Planner then. I just love a McConaughey moment, you know?
Yeah.
So I stand behind it then. Yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, then this next one is definitely Maybe versus 10 Things I Hate About You, and this is the easiest one of all time, I think. This is probably the easiest one on this list.
After what you just said about Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we even need to do the countdown? I think it's just 10 things I hate about you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Again, another movie with a great moment where it's like a great musical moment that shouldn't maybe be there, but it's there, you know? And I love it.
And then How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days versus The Holiday. Any movie with 10 in the title seems to just move on, because I think there's another one we just can go How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah, the number 10 crushes in rom-coms for whatever reason. The Holiday, super underrated. I threw it on there because it's actually crazy good. I didn't think it deserved to get past the first round, so that's why I put it against How to Lose a Guy. But it's a great movie that if you haven't seen, watch it around Christmas time. You're gonna like it. That's a great movie. Jack Black plays a pretty serious guy, and you know Jack Black, pretty off brand for him. But yeah, check it out.
There's a miss on this list that I'm just realizing.
Really?
Love Actually is not on this list.
No way.
That's all right, because the next two.
It can be in the. Let's put Love Actually in the final. It can compete against whoever wins our bracket.
All right. Well, 11. He's Just Not That Into You versus 6. Crazy Rich Asians. Now, I have a confession.
Okay.
I have not seen either of these.
You haven't seen He's Just Not That Into You? That's like a Matt from Until
that's
We
like
Agree
that's
special.
like that's like the one that's like I am shocked I've never seen. Crazy Rich Asians is at least like semi newer, so it's like
sure.
I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch that one. I've heard it's very good, but yeah, I'm gonna have to defer on this one to
Bro,
you.
He's Just Not That Into You is your next watch. I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
It's so good, and it's definitely winning for me. Crazy Rich Asians. I put it on here because it's a modern day classic in the rom com space.
Oh baby,
it is so boring.
Oh.
I like got done with that movie and I was like, here, this is my my letterbox review of this. Essentially said this: you know you're in trouble when Aquafina is like the joy of the movie.
Oh no!
Like I genuinely had a great time every time.
That makes me not want to watch it.
You don't want to watch it. Every time Aquafina came on screen, it was like a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh, thank goodness we have something like interesting to like look at now, you know? And you'll never hear me say that about Aquafina ever again. If Aquafina has no haters, I'm dead. But as far as Crazy Rich Asians go, whew, that's the best we can do. So
Dang.
yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next one then, because it seems like they just got stomped. It's a blowout. 50 First Dates versus Crazy Stupid Love. 3, 2, 1. 50 First
Crazy
Dates.
Stupid Love.
Whoa.
I know you love 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
50 First Dates kind of stresses. I kind of just get anxious watching it because I'm like, man, he's got to do this every single day, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I get like, I love the story, but I'm like,
wouldn't it be nice if we, you know?
That was
That's
really
the
good.
movie.
I'm glad you cut that off when you did, because if you sang it any further, we would have gotten some copyright issues. Just
yeah.
How
We
on
have,
par that was to the actual original.
Yeah, we get compared to the Beach Boys quite often
Yeah.
on this podcast. But
I think Crazy Stupid Love has one of maybe the best rom-com scene in all of rom-coms of like modern day. That like the final scene where like everyone kind of like meets each other finally. I think it's one of like the most fun rom-com scenes. So that in itself is enough for it to give me the edge over 50 First Dates, just because I have a good time watching Crazy Stupid Love. I do
think it's probably a better movie technically.
Sure, that too. I love 50 First Dates, what it's trying to do, but man, when I watch it, I'm like, I'm kind of itchy, you know?
And speaking of itchy, let's get hitchy. Because the next one is Valentine's Day versus Hitch.
Hit it, Hitch.
Keep my wife's name out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, that's
okay,
not.
Hitch. Oh.
So that's what happens when you say hit it, Hitch.
Keep my wife's name out.
Yeah, okay. Let's try to avoid that button in the future.
It's aggressive. Is Chris okay?
We'll check on him. We'll check on him for sure. Will Smith is his own beast in this, but as far as Hitch versus Valentine's Day goes,
I'm
I
now
love
scared of
Valentine's
Will
Day.
Smith. We have to choose Hitch.
Yeah, I was maybe 50-50 going into it, but yeah, I think we gotta go Hitch just for safety reasons at this point. So we're into the next round. Wedding Crashers versus Forgetting Sarah Marshall for Tyler and 27 Dresses for me.
So I'm gonna go Wedding Crashers.
I am too.
We should crash a wedding at some point.
I don't see why we wouldn't. Yeah. Let's find one. Next time we're both in the same town. Let's do that. That'd be sick, actually.
Okay, so we're gonna fly through that because that's easy. Wedding Crashers all the way.
Yeah.
The next one, we both picked The Wedding Planner, and we both pick 10 Things I Hate About You. I think we'll be on the same
I
page.
think we'll both be on the same page.
10
things I hate about you. Yeah.
Boom,
okay.
Easy.
Yeah. So we're totally on the same page there. This one, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days versus He's Just Not That Into You. You've
I
not
would
seen one of
pick
these.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Guy in 10 Days. I would too. It's maybe the most classic of all these.
And then Hitch versus, I'm going to concede it to Crazy Stupid Love because I do agree that's probably a better movie. So
really,
Hitch
I thought you were a
versus-
big Hitch head.
No. I'm sorry. I'm saying like because it would have been 50 First Dates to me. So I'm saying Hitch
you can take your-
versus Crazy Stupid Love, or either. I'll be honest. Either way, Hitch is going to win. So it doesn't
Okay.
really matter.
But don't hit it, Hitch.
That was close.
Oof. Yeah, that was. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I think I'm giving Crazy Stupid Love the edge over Hitch for me. So
Wow.
yeah. Sorry, Hitch. Don't please. Okay, so we're in the final four now. Wedding Crashers versus 10 Things I Hate About You, which is probably where these should have fallen. This is a good matchup.
I'm still going Wedding Crashers.
I know I said it wouldn't win just because it's Wedding Crashers, but so far it's still winning just because it's Wedding Crashers. So it's in the
The
final
audience is
against.
probably screaming right now. Stop picking Wedding Crashers.
I
The
know.
audience
No.
hates when Wedding Crashers is
Hey.
in a bracket.
No. Hey, I think you're gonna. Hey, Rat Pack, you're gonna like this. I think we've got. What do we have? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days versus Hitch or Crazy Stupid Love.
And we're going Hitch.
Really? Okay, I'm
Yep.
going How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Easy.
Okay.
So we're in the final before you go up against the British
And
Love Actually.
this is where you set me up because Hitch and Wedding Crashers are like my two like favorite
Bro,
rom-coms
how
of
is
all
this a
time.
setup? This is the final. You have to at some point make a choice.
But you set me up.
I put them on opposite ends of the bracket.
Yeah, you set me up. But
Okay. What are you
here's
gonna
the
do
thing.
about it?
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I have to pick Wedding Crashers.
You have to.
And
Interesting.
Hitch comes so close though. It's so close.
Yeah. It's a classic. It follows the formula perfectly. But you know what else is a classic that follows the formula perfectly? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Beats Wedding Crashers.
Wow.
Yeah. Wedding Crashers is kind of in its own place for me. When you think about rom-coms, you think about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and it does the job perfectly in every
even
way.
more than that, you think about Love Actually. So what are you?
That is
what are you
true.
picking there, this is a battle of the Titans.
That is true, and I think our one British listener has a very strong opinion about this, but he's wrong in it. It's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, isn't it?
It's Love Actually. Nice.
You pick Love Actually?
No, I'm
Oh.
picking Wedding Crashers.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that's the correct choice for sure. Love Actually is great, but it got forgotten for a reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, and well,
It should be on here,
I
but
don't know if I'd say it was forgotten, but it's definitely not. I don't know. People love it, and I don't know if I love it.
yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's great, and I think it did a great job of bringing in that like those huge names into one movie, which Valentine's Day perfected, of course. But yeah, it does good for what it is, but it's not for us, and that's okay. But what is for us is ending this episode of Until We Agree.
And to do that, as always, hit it, Hitch.
Keep my wife's name out.
Oh no.
No.
Thank you for listening.